Oh, right. Alright, we should be good to go. Don't you feel like a real podcaster? You got the headsets on and we're getting right into the news.
I mean, I tell you, like, I feel pretty badass, if that's what you mean.
I don't know, you look pretty badass. Good morning and thank you for coming to the... I don't know what to call it. Going Deep.
Going deep. Whoa, that's see, that has a lot of sexual connotations.
Was that not the goal of this podcast?
I thought that was the other one, like the one we do later.
Oh, yeah. That's called Fody After Dark.
Yes, Fody After Dark. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that.
Right. I don't know where to look. I split you up because I can't get the camera right next to the.
Yeah, I thought about putting. Because for all you viewers out there, Matt is right here for me. And I thought about putting it very close so I look like I'm looking at him, but I figured I'll just look back and forth.
I'm going to throw off all of the audio while I clip the Glenn webcam right up to the other camera. Whoa, see, now I can kind of like look at you, but my notes are over here.
Yeah, we don't need notes, maybe.
Maybe that's we're off script.
Yeah, maybe that's something I'll do for the future video is mount you right below my lens so it looks like I'm paying attention to the camera.
Let's save the mounting for Fody After Dark.
Yeah, of course. So
I freeze up at these moments and like I want to just like spit out Anchorman quotes and I can't remember any of them. But I'll be in work, like everybody be quiet in the cubicles and I could just start spitting off movie lyrics and now the pressure's getting to me and I just can't do it.
I always like to quote The Office. But should we kind of describe what we had envisioned here?
Go ahead, yeah. You wanna take it?
Yeah. So I was just thinking, since we're getting back into kind of doing a little Groom Squad stuff, I thought that, because I always liked the topics Matt was talking about, and they always went a little deeper, and I tried to go a little bit deeper with mine. And so we were thinking about doing like deep talks with Matt and Glenn or something. We'll have to think of a good name for it. but yeah, going deep. I mean, I like it, but there is already a show called Going Deep where he interviews porn stars, which I'm totally for. But I was thinking we do like, just pick a topic. Like today's topic is aliens. And then we talk about kind of anything that has to do with it. We could talk about technology they think they have, or we could talk about, are they real, are they not, why aren't they, or whatever. You can pretty much take your mind anywhere you go, so I try to keep the topic short. So maybe next week it'll be guns, I don't know, and we could talk about guns or gun control or shootings or whatever, and we can kind of go as deep or as shallow as we prefer on any topic.
We're getting real, folks.
You know it. What do you pay us for?
Whoa. Got a Windows update in the headphones. We're getting paid?
I thought, are we not? Alright, let's turn this off. This is stupid. I'm not. Yeah, Brady walked, I didn't say it while I was recording, but Brady walked in like while I was setting up my stuff, and I don't know if you can tell, but I have professional studio lighting, a camera mounted, a microphone set up, and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, honestly, there's no good explanation for what I'm doing. It's just
I got lucky and I have the house to myself on Mondays. Danielle teaches a class until about 8 o'clock.
Let me pick up my.
Really explain anything.
Let me pick up a cup of water so I don't dehydrate. And it's pretty handy. I got my sink right here, so I can just fill her up.
Where are you doing this? You like at the kitchen? In the kitchen?
At my bar.
The bar, nice.
Yeah, I figure that's a good location. Kind of gets nice angle of everything. So how do you want to start? Do you want to go first? Do you want to talk about what your thought process was, or just dive right into it?
Well, so You said, I don't know, you said aliens. So like the first thing that comes to my mind, and it probably comes to everybody's mind, like have they been here before, right? Like is that where your head goes to, or is it?
I think first it goes to, are they real, or like, are they out there? Then yes,
Are
have
they
they?
out
If the answer is yes, then have they been here?
Okay, that makes. Oh yeah, I can see that connection. Mine always just goes, you know, have they been here? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't help but like go into or start thinking about all the like History Channel, that Ancient Aliens, the guy with the crazy hair, and it really just comes down to like pyramids for me. That's what always gets me, is the giant pyramids, and they're not just, when you say pyramids, it's not just Egypt. It's like all over the world. Mesopotamia, Southeast Asia, the
South America.
Iberian Peninsula, yeah, South America. And that, you know, that just it's just like an unreal connection that these people that had no way of communicating with each other, really probably traveling to see each other, I would imagine. I'm not too well versed in like ancient sea, you know, sailing of the high seas, but I feel like they really weren't getting together too often. But
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty well documented that.
Structures.
Yeah, I think it's pretty well documented that 4,000 years ago, people weren't sailing across the Atlantic willy-nilly.
I mean, yeah, you would hope. They thought it was flat.
Yeah, well, some people. I think that's almost like I forget what they call it, but it's a thing where it's like people say it all the time to make us seem more superior than people back in the day. But I feel like all people that sailed, even if they didn't sail that far, had to have known that the Earth wasn't flat, because you watch a ship disappear from the bottom up. So even if they didn't have a full grasp of it, I almost feel like they just had to have known. But honestly, I don't know. But with the pyramids, I wonder if that's just like the easiest way to build a tall thing.
I mean, yeah, you had me there. Like, just structural integrity. If you don't have the, I don't know, like steel and concrete to build straight up,
Yeah.
that does make sense that you'd have to start out with a nice wide base and kind of build up from there.
Yeah.
It's
And I mean,
just
think
still
about it,
weird how
anthills.
similar they are.
I mean, anthills, they don't have the eye for aesthetics, but it's the same shape. It just doesn't have the corners because it's not as pretty, because they don't have the design work. But I do agree that pyramids are weird. They are very weird. And there's like
There's something there, we just don't know what it is.
And there's a bunch of like geometric stuff with the layouts of the pyramids and that stuff. Have you ever seen the movie Undeniable? It's on Netflix.
I have not. Undeniable.
It is
I'm
about
gonna write that
alien.
down.
It's about alien life having visited Earth, and it is extremely interesting. I watched it, and it's almost so convincing that you're like, how is this not extremely popular? Like, they have like astronauts on there saying things, and pilots, and like people. They have a few people that are just kind of regular people, but the goal was kind of to have people that like are in positions of power and that you trust. So you're kind of like, if I'm trusting people that tell me that there's not aliens, who are these people? And kind of, it's not perfect. I did more research on some stuff, and it's not perfect, but it is pretty eye-opening. It seems like it should be more popular based on kind of how well everything's laid out. But that's a fun watch.
Undeniable. I wrote it down. I'm going to check it out. So it's like a documentary, though.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, what about you? Have they?
Yeah.
Have they visited?
So
have they been here?
I think it is. Yeah. So when I come to it, I kind of first I go to it. Are they real? Are they out there? And then I think if the answer is no, then we have to be in a simulation. It's not possible, which is very possible. I don't know if I've talked with everyone about the simulation.
Well,
I don't think
that's
we're.
Why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because it's a crazy idea. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of the old video of that had been going for days.
Yeah, that was a classic. But I mean, should I get into this? We could say that for a different one if you want. The simulation.
We're going off script, man. Let's go.
Okay, so the simulation argument, let's be honest, I don't believe we're in a simulation, but so the simulation argument is 30 years ago we had very basic video games, Pong, one rectangle triangle, bouncing a ball back and forth. Super basic. Now we have photorealistic VR, and now we have VR mapping with haptic feedback appendages, which is crazy advanced. So immersive that people feel uncomfortable when leaving the game. If you continue that trend of video game technology at any rate, even if it slows 1,000-fold, eventually we will get to a point where video games are indistinguishable from reality, just indistinguishable. And so then we have to argue: are we the first people to get to that technology? If the answer is no, then the chance is billions to one that we are inside of a simulation. Because think about it, video games, whenever they become popular, they become to a point where anyone can afford them, around $500 to $800. So let's just pick an Earth-sized planet. If there's 8 million people or 8 billion people that can generally afford this, then it's one in billions that we're not being ran in someone else's simulation. Not that I think we're in a simulation, because that makes you sound a little bit crazy, but the problem is trying to find a problem with that argument. There's no issue with that. It's completely sound, but it makes you sound like a crazy person to say that we're in a simulation.
It does, yeah. And then the numbers start coming out, and all of a sudden the chances that you're in a simulation are greater that you'll ever win the lottery. And it's, okay, there might be something here.
Yeah. And then if aliens don't exist, then I think there's no doubt that we're in a simulation. If they do, my problem is kind of gets into the Fermi paradox. I don't know if you've checked into it too much. There's some really awesome videos online that you can look at. Some of my favorite channels do a bunch of stuff on that. Everything from like Vsauce to, I can't pronounce this one, but they do it's kind of like minute physics, but they kind of dive into some of the weird stuff. But the Fermi paradox is basically the size of just our galaxy, and there's hundreds of millions of galaxies. Just our galaxy is 100,000 light years across, and we have been sending out signals deliberate signals for about 50 years. That generally runs at the speed of light. So we have a 50 light year radius around Earth where signals are being sent. So that's the farthest they've reached. We cannot have reached the other side of the galaxy yet because it's too far away.
It's impossible, yeah.
Yeah, and so we have this tiny orb. Essentially, it's kind of like an orb around the planet where our technology has reached. Every year, it gets farther and farther. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I'm following.
And so I think we've just discovered too little we've discovered way too little. But our our information couldn't have possibly reached 99.99999% of the galaxy alone, not the universe, just the galaxy. So I think it would be, what's the word? Silly of us to expect that that we should have heard something. The galaxy is just so vast that someone would have to be on every single planet to have heard us.
Yeah. And I think it just comes down to humans being arrogant, right?
Yeah.
With these odds, who the hell are we to say that no, we're the only ones there?
Yeah. I do believe that it is extremely possible that there is vastly knowledgeable or intelligent aliens out there. I think it's very possible, just because of the sheer size of everything and the probability. But then you get to a point where, we've done all this technology, all this advancement in the last 500-ish years. Could you imagine what we would look like in 1,000,000 years if we don't kill ourselves? And 1,000,000 years is a snap in the whole evolutionary scheme of things. I mean, the universe is 13-ish billion years old. And so when you look at that, can you imagine if a planet started exactly where we're now, but 1,000,000 years ago, and they're still alive? They may look at us and say, there is no sign of intelligent life here on this planet. They may look at us.
And just skip right over us.
Yeah, they may. I mean, how we look at squirrels may be how they look at us. They'll say, oh, that squirrel is climbing the tree and it's funny. We may be so unadvanced that they literally don't know how to communicate with us. I mean, do you know how to communicate with a squirrel? If you tried to explain to us this smartest squirrel in the world and said, you know, here's how our civilization works, you could never do it because you don't even. It's not that you don't speak the same language; it's that they cannot possibly comprehend what you're trying to say. I think that's a real possibility too. They glanced over and said, I don't know what to do with this.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Now, I mean, theoretically, so like you said, we've been sending out deliberate signals for about 50 years. I think my camera just shut off.
I still see it. Oh, you mean your other camera?
the other camera. But what about like
inadvertent signals? Almost 100 years.
Yeah, inadvertent signals. How long are we thinking there?
Almost 100 years. So when the first TV signals started being broadcast, it technically started, but there's arguments about how far that will actually travel. Mm-hmm. But I mean, think about it. The first signals that we transmitted in that way that could go interstellar was, 100 years ago at most. So that's still only this tiny bubble.
That's just insane to think about.
It's like if there's a golf. It actually might be smaller than this, but I'm not sure. It's like if there's a golf ball on a football field, and that's how much our telecommunications has traveled.
It gives a good visual. I'm sure.
It honestly could be smaller. It could be the size of the head of a pin. I'm not sure. I haven't done the math. But yeah, it's so vast. I think that's where our real problem is.
So then I think, I don't know, I guess I kind of set this up as like an interview question because I don't even know how I would answer it. But something I wrote down was, now we've gotten to this point, different theories that we've had and that have been around. Why then do aliens get like such a negative rap? Like people bring them up, you're instantly accused of being crazy, but not just that, like you kind of get the religious zealots come out and like there's just no possible way. Like nobody wants to believe it. And I guess why? Why is it so negative?
I think it's kind of the unknown gets it a little bit. I also think it comes from a little bit of unconscious self-reflection. I mean, think about any time we came upon a less advanced culture, what did we do to them? Enslave them, and kill them.
Slave them and kill them off, yeah.
I think some of that comes from fear of more intelligent life because of what we've done to less intelligent, well, not less intelligent, maybe less developed. Keep it PG. But yeah, I think some of it is that. Some of it's just the unknown, 100%. They see a thing flying in the sky and they don't know what it is. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
You almost look too official with your microphone. You're like holding it like the news tonight. It's rainy.
I don't know if it's in the other camera. I don't think it is. I think only you see it in the webcam. And then there's also like a 75% chance that all this video is going to be gone because the other camera like keeps going on and off. So this might just be crappy audio. Hopefully I'm not moving around too much, and it might just be like your face.
I'll do a super close up. I'll just put a picture of you like right here, and it's just a stationary picture.
Every time I talk, it could just kind of like light up or something.
Yeah. I'll make your mouth move. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, perfect. What did you did you see that I think it was F-18 fighter that was trying to intercept a UFO? Oh, did you see they changed the name? It's not UFO. It's unexplained aerial phenomenon. I think it's because of all the negative stuff about it. But they changed it to unidentified aerial phenomenon. But there, like recently, there was an F-18 that was tracking one, and it like dodged them. Did you see that?
It kind of sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
And the bigger thing about it
recently?
Kind of. It was really popular like a month or 2 months ago. There was a big, I think a Pentagon investigation. They spent like $22 million. Does that kind of...
I did see that. I remember seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, and so there was a bunch of kind of like, are we using our money right kind of discussion. But it's not really important. It was just kind of an interesting little thing that they're still sightings. Jeez, these headphones actually do make it a little difficult to talk because they cancel noise so well that I can't exactly hear what I'm saying 100%.
I was always told that that's how you really sound when you put on like some noise canceling like this and you hear your voice and you're
Well, it's
like,
not that I
why does it
sound
so
weird.
bad? It's like, no,
I
it's
just
you really
can't
sound
hear
like.
myself that well.
Oh, you have the Bluetooth on too, right? I'm
Yeah.
not using that, so I don't think there's any noise canceling.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know if you gentlemen at home noticed that me and Matt have the same headphones because we're a bunch of badasses or something.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. You sounded like you have like a full list of questions. Do you want? Did you want to touch
I
on
really
that?
don't.
Did you want to touch
I
on
think,
that one or
Um,
the
hold
question
on.
you
What else
asked
did
me?
I write? What else did I write? Oh, why they get a negative rap? I feel like as much as even like the most atheistic person will admit, I think it comes down to like just being scared and religious belief. I think people have like so ingrained, they have this idea of like, okay, we've all as a even you could say as a world have kind of agreed on like a very basic, like we come from a creator, even if you don't agree on who the hell that is. I feel like there's been so much consensus and to for the idea to be that there's actually other life forms out there. I think just it throws that whole understanding just right out the window.
Yeah, funny that you said that. I've often thought what implications finding an alien, they're peaceful, calm, whatever, and they're like, yeah, we live over on Optimus Centauri, over a couple million light years away or a couple hundred light years away. Do you want to come hang out? What implications would that have on religion?
It would blow it up.
I think so.
Yeah, it would be hitting the reset button. Nobody
Yeah.
would know what to do.
Yeah,
You'd
I think
have the crazy people that try to say that us and that alien group are from the same creator,
Yeah.
which would probably last like 2 minutes until it was
Yeah.
debunked, and
Yeah,
then
think
there'd be
that
the people
would,
that say no, there's no way they're from the devil.
yeah, it's a trick. Yeah, yeah. I think that's. I think it's likely that that would be the start of the end of religion. But who knows? Did you have another question?
The last one I wrote down is just like what could it mean? I guess that kind of ties to the last one though. Like,
Well, I can get into kind of a weird subject that I like about aliens. If you
Go ahead.
want to, I
Let's
want
hear
to
it.
kind of pick your brain on it. Another thing that kind of may be a reason we haven't seen intelligent life, mostly that they haven't found us, could be that there are massive filters. So those could be things like obstacles that are very hard to pass. So it could be things like life may be harder to create than we think. We believe, because everywhere we look we see life, that life can't be crazy, crazy difficult to create. We look in 600 degrees Celsius heat vents at the bottom of the ocean and there's life. We look in caves where there's no light and no air and there's life. And so we think maybe that there might be like these filters that make it harder to get to the point we're at. Maybe nuclear war is a big filter. Once people just figure out that, fission and fusion, maybe stuff generally doesn't go as well. And maybe there's been millions of societies that have got to the point we have, but then once someone finds out about nuclear, they kill themselves. Or maybe climate change is a knockout punch and we're just not there yet. Or maybe it's AI. Once we develop AI, everything is gone, dead, downhill, whatever. But that's another thing that I think is a very good possibility, that there's just a thing where, once your civilization kind of develops maybe a few thousand years into the technological phase, then you're it's a ticking time bomb. There's some kind of thing you're going to develop that's going to be the trigger.
so is the implication that they just can't see us because of those filters, or those filters are stopping them from looking, like they're not even going to bother.
No, I think
or they've seen us and they're passing over.
No, those filters are saying it's not a filter as in like something can't see or go through it. It's a filter in the sense of development. We've been through filters.
You'll never make it far enough because
yeah,
of
we've been through filters.
Okay.
Our first filter was life, like actual life that sustainable life was developed on the planet. One of our more recent deadly filters was we've kind of, not fully, but we've kind of passed the nuclear phase. Like people it's not like the Cold War anymore. People don't have nuclear weapons pointing at each other because of political disagreements. Some people do, but there's a lot less of a threat. Like I don't worry about being shot by a nuclear weapon. So that's a filter. Maybe crossing that bridge, maybe a bridge is the easier way to say it. Maybe crossing that bridge is harder. Maybe 99% of worlds that get to the nuclear phase kill everyone. That's what I mean by filter. Maybe it's maybe a better way to say it. Right? Maybe a better way to say it is bridge. Maybe climate change is a bridge that no Earth will ever get past. And so maybe they just don't get to the point where they could find us. Because no world, no species could ever get past climate change. Maybe that's a thing.
And that's it. That's the end of the evolution. Whereas if you were able to get past that bridge, that's when we would travel out, or another
maybe there's
find us.
Maybe there's an unlimited amount of bridges. Maybe the next bridge is AI, and it's hard to get past that one. Maybe the next bridge is some disease that happens when you go into space. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? I think that I think that it's possible that there's a bridge that civilizations will have to cross in order to be a space-bearing species. I can't speak. A space-bearing species. And maybe that bridge is impossible to recover from.
I mean,
don't know if that
you
makes
sold
sense.
me on it. No, yeah, you sold me on it. And it's, if you were to think that we wouldn't, our civilization wouldn't be all that different from another alien race, they're facing those same bridges. If they're ahead of us in this evolution timeline, they've already wiped themselves out. And that's why we're not seeing this contact that I guess, I don't know if we're hoping for it, but, sending out these signals, we're not getting a response because anybody that might have been far enough ahead to be able to collect that response, process it, and send something back, they've wiped themselves out by this point. They haven't made it over one of those bridges. Yeah. That makes sense to me, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I had... You're making me tired now. I think I had one more thing that was like a little topic. Do you have anything else?
I had a bonus I wrote down, but it didn't really have anything to do with alien life. It was just on the outer space theme. It said, "Moon landing hoax."
I think. So I've watched a lot of stuff about it. I think it's definitely possible. I think we had the motive to fake it.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree.
Because it was the space race. It was, we were competing with Russia. And, Russia was going to go to the moon, and then they decided not to because we made it. We kind of just beat the space race.
We created our own competition, and then
I almost feel
this
is kind of how I deal with situations on the internet. Whenever I see a video that I'm like, is this fake? Sometimes I say, would it be easier to fake than actually doing it? And that's sometimes my criteria.
Okay.
I think it would have been easier to fake it, and so I think it is possible that they faked it. I don't really see any proof of I've watched a lot of stuff, and I see no definitive proof, like absolutely here, this thing, that thing. There's a bunch of little things that you can look at, but I haven't seen anything convincing. proof that it's faked. I just think it's possible.
Okay.
And they had the motive.
That, I mean, you can't get around that. Yeah. I mean, I guess I've been in a similar but different boat. I don't even remember what my original thought process behind this was, but I've always thought like I don't think we went to the moon the first time we said we went to the moon. I think we've been there since then, maybe on our, our so-called second or third try. But I think, like you said, we had all the motive in the world to fake that first one just to win.
Yeah.
And kind of, I don't know, buy time or just win, just, get that global dominance. But
it is a little bit sad.
I feel like
if it is,
at this point, we probably have.
It is a little bit sad. I mean, so let's say the moon landing is real, which I do believe it is real. So from 1907, first plane. I think it's Wright Brothers, 1907,
yeah, around in there, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
1907, something like that. Wright Brothers first plane. So in 65 years, we went from flying this paper plane, basically, with a dude strapped into it and a tiny engine, to riding a rocket ship to the moon. And then since then, we've had almost zero expansion. We don't even go to the moon anymore.
No. But I think that's more of a cost thing, not necessarily.
We were talking about when they landed, after they landed on the moon, they were talking about Mars in like 3 years.
And we still haven't done that.
Yeah,
that keeps getting
hopefully my boy
pushed to the back burner.
Hopefully my boy Elon will do it.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do it.
I want to go to Mars. I'd be happy to be born on Earth and die on Mars. Just hopefully not on impact. But yeah, Elon is bae. I'd marry him. He's awesome. Get one of those Teslas.
Elon is bae.
No, he's really.
Oh, is that how you get one?
I think so. Is it how? Yeah, I don't know of any other way. But yeah, I'd be totes down for that. I still can't.
Man, you're gonna make me fall asleep. Yeah.
I'm not even. The funny thing is, I'm not even
yawning.
tired. It's 7:00. I'm not tired at all. Maybe it's the bright lights. Sometimes bright lights make you yawn or something. Is that not?
Ooh. There goes the camera.
Bang, dead. The people on camera don't know what we're talking about, but my camera almost fell. So watch out. So what do you think is a good goal for this, whatever this is? For the future.
For our videos or for outer space and aliens?
For Groom Squad.
for Groom Squad. I don't know. I think maybe we started off a little too gung-ho. Everybody's gonna put up a video every single day, and
well, also think about this. We went from doing like random videos on our iPhone to us having professional setups with mics and headsets, and we're doing a 30-minute platform here. Yeah, we changed it up. We totally did different than the beginning. We didn't go way too hard at the beginning.
No, I just think we keep it to one topic once a week, at least in this platform. If we want to do something else, but we could give ourselves some time to research, have some interesting debates. Maybe bring some of the guys in. We have a guest caller.
Yeah, we'll let them call in. We don't want to see their face, but we'll let them call in.
Oh yeah, no.
We got a call on line 1. That kind of thing. But yeah, I'd be down to do this Mondays and just chat and shoot the breeze. Should we choose our topic now, or should we wait?
Either that or do a poll. But
I'd be down for a poll.
I say, you know what? Let's choose the first one.
Okay.
Maybe next week.
You got any ideas?
If everything goes off. Oh, I just drew on my shirt.
Oh no, not your beautiful V-neck. The
Damn
deep V.
This is my undershirt. I do the deep V, so you don't see the undershirt under the work shirt.
I got you. Well, do you have any ideas for topics? I have a few ideas, but I want to hear yours.
I don't have any ideas.
I feel like I've been talking
what do you
too
have?
much.
I think you definitely came better prepared to this one than I did. I was just like, hell yeah, let's do a video. Yeah, let's put something on YouTube. That's
Well, I live on YouTube pretty much, so all these videos, all these topics, that's what I like watch online. I'll shoot you some links to like some of the Fermi paradox stuff. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, no, all right, you shut up. Do you have a?
So go ahead. What do you have in mind then?
We could do guns. So anything
Guns?
from
Ooh, getting
actual
political.
guns to gun control. We could do. Well, do you want to do like political or like funny or? Because I feel like the ones that are kind of like more than one side are kind of like political generally.
I mean, we did say it's going deep. We could, or we're calling it going deep right now. We'll probably come up with a less sexual name, but
Or more,
I mean,
or
politics.
more
I don't think politics should be out of the question.
sexual. Okay.
We'll keep it civil. We're adults.
Yeah, barely. We could talk. I had a few good ones. I'm trying to think of what they were. We could just do like silly things. Like we'll have a debate on the best restaurant,
Debate on the best restaurant.
or
We could do something on the Oscars and why the hell that Shape of Water won like everything, and it's about a fish that makes no sense to me.
yeah, I didn't watch the Oscars. I don't really watch TV, unfortunately.
I watched some of it. I didn't stay awake for the whole thing, but like I don't know. I watch movies, so that was like the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was like, okay, who won?
Yeah, I do like
after I fell
movies.
asleep. Who won all the good stuff?
But I feel like it's just such a popularity contest, and it's not like what's actually the best. But I totally understand it.
We could debate movies. We could pick movies. I don't know, like really profound or like real like movies that like really change the game, and we could
Have
kind
you seen
of
Infinity
talk
Chamber?
about what and why. Infinity Chamber. No, I'm gonna write that
It's
one
on
down too.
Netflix. It is interesting, but you have to go into it with the right mindset. It is kind of like, have you seen a 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
It's like a mix between that and Inception.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It is a little bit lower budget, so don't have too high of expectations, but the concept is pretty cool.
Okay. I mean, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Inception and 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm making some notes.
Yeah.
Let's write that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really, I'm not in love with any of our topics, so maybe we could brainstorm during the week, and we'll try to have something nailed out by, towards the end of the week, so we can have a day or something to figure out what we want to talk about and such.
Okay. I like it.
Cool.
Sounds like a plan.
Should we do like an outro and... Thank you, boys and girls, for joining us today on Going Deep. Like that?
It was beautiful. Perfect. One take. You don't need another one.
Yeah. Do you
that's it.
want
That's the winner.
to send me your video?
I'm gonna see what survived from the video, and then I'm gonna pull the audio out of this guy, and I'm gonna just send all of that to you. And I figure you're a professional. You could probably do something with it. You disappeared. Are we offline? Oh, okay. I'll stop recording.